Like a butterfly sting like a bee, motherfucker. Alright. In this video, we're going to talk to you about masculine and feminine energy. And the reason that we're going to talk to you like that is because we both have long hair and we're wearing low-cut shirts, alright? The reason that we're going to talk about masculine and feminine energy today, the reason that I have who I have on today is because he has been massively beneficial in my understanding of masculine and feminine energy. He's been massively beneficial in the way that I understand myself, and he has a lot of insight to provide. So, without further ado, what's your name and where the fuck are you from?
Wow, what an introduction. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to talk to you guys or whoever is there. My name is Zion Michiaki. I was born and raised in Japan for over 20 years. And yeah, we spontaneously met on this island out of the blue. We were brought together by a school that teaches Tantra Yoga arts of the old Kaula tradition. And when we met, we kind of clicked right away, didn't we? We really did. And we talked for hours, we connected for hours. Yeah, and I think the concept of masculine and feminine energy is quite strong and at the foundation of a lot of what we flow with and what we understand. So yeah, I think this is a very good topic to talk about.
Thank you. That was very nice. Thanks. And so, undertaking a Tantra Yoga training course, part of that, which I mentioned in the previous video, is that Tantra allows us to see and then fully embrace every single part of us as a whole. It's holistic love. And part of that is realizing masculine energy, and part of that is realizing feminine energy. Now, we're going to get into which each one of those are, how you can see it within yourself, how you can then therefore see it within others, and then how to fully embrace that and bring it all together. And then Zion's going to have some great insights for you. And I expect, just from listening to him in this very podcast style episode, that I can learn. I mean, he's already shared a bunch of shit with me behind the scenes, and that's the reason that we had the forethought to create this video. But I expect to learn a lot just like with you right now. So lock in, enjoy what you're about to see, and hope you get a lot out of it. And then like this intro plays, and then they're like do 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 do.
All that I want in this life is the chance to do my thing. All that I want in this life is the chance to do my thing.
Yeah.
I want the top. All my people right there in the back of the spot. I need the top. If you know me, you don't know me to stop. I need the top. All my people there in the back of the spot. Let them get shot. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut that. Okay, so all right. So one of the big things for me about masculine and feminine energy, and one thing that it's going to relate to you, when I say this point, you're going to be like, fuck. If you're a dude watching this, it's really hard to recognize and embrace the feminine energy within you. Because as men, especially from where I come from in the world, and Zion, you're supposed to be a masculine male. You're supposed to suck it up. You're supposed to rub that dirt on it and cover whatever emotional wounds that might be coming to the surface right now. That was big for me. Really fucking big. And sometimes I just want to look good. I want to grow out my hair. I want to wear some earrings and get bedazzled. I want to get a beautiful tattoo, and I want to look fabulous. Which I think I do. And that's part of the feminine energy that is within all of us. Okay,
don't forget
both men.
Music.
We can get into that later, and you can explain because I don't know what you're referencing.
Oh, yeah.
Like a chandelier. Okay, so that's part of us. That's part of women have masculine energy and men have feminine energy. So I'm not really good at explaining either one of them. That's why I have Zion on, and that's what he's going to do right now for you. So Zion, could you talk about the characteristics of masculine and feminine energy for us?
It'd be in my honor. I think the best thing for me to start is just kind of share a tiny bit of my experience of how I kind of came about it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think for me, same like you know, I come from Japan. I spent most of my life in Japanese education, but then I also went to international school in Japan. That's why I kind of have like an American or British mixed accent. But all the while, I've always taught to be like, you know, suck it up, be a man. There's no crying in baseball. there's no crying. And, that just comes from my father and so a lot of the men in my life, his friends or teachers, just telling me this my whole life. And I have a very strong feminine, and I found that out a little bit later in my life. And once I got away from that, I started doing exploring internally and externally. I traveled a bit. I think one of the greatest influences for me that I want to kind of share with you guys is David Data. If you haven't heard of him, his book on The Way of the Superior Man and Blue Truth, he has 2 very amazing books, and he really goes into the depth and just the beautiful essence of it. And hear me out. So he basically says that each individual person, has either a masculine heart or a feminine heart, or a masculine sexual essence or a feminine sexual essence, and each person is different. He usually says that statistics is about 80% of the world's males have a masculine heart, a masculine sexual essence, and that means that when you have that sexual essence, is that you're attracted to the opposite, the feminine. And I'll explain what exactly you're attracted to in a minute. So for me, I decided that I have to figure out who I am and how my body and my DNA and my whole energy works. And I found out that my essence, my sexual essence in my heart is masculine at the core of it. But I have a very, very strong feminine. And you might not wonder, like, what is the feminine in me or in you, And that, like you said, it could be like dancing, wanting to look good, wanting to express yourself. David Data says that the actual essence, the way that the feminine really wants to express is fullness and love. It wants to receive love, it wants to give love, and it likes the fullness. So when you really meet like a feminine person, whether guy or girl, but mostly a woman, she likes to fill the house or fill the room with like things, like pillows and colors and shells and, lights and stuff. That's kind of her way of she needs that sort of fullness in her environment, in her life. It really does affect. And for the masculine, actually one of the greatest blissful pleasures for the masculine is actually emptiness and nothingness and stillness. It's like when you feel that sense of like you accomplished something during the day, you gave it your all. It might have not worked out, it might have worked out, but you gave everything, and just that final just like collapse on the bed, and you just feel that sense of fulfillment and that emptiness. You emptied out your vessel, you emptied out your energy. That is like it's like the blissfulness for the masculine. So that's the main sort of difference, fullness and emptiness. Now it expands to the depth of it, but I need to just stay on track here. So when I found out about the feminine in me, it can go so deep. Like I was hurt a lot in my feminine, and my feminine needs to be heard, so I need to shepherd it from my masculine, which I think will be a good thing to kind of expand into. Mm-hmm. But I feel like just the basis of it, that's kind of just the foundational basis of what we have in our hearts and we have in our bodies and we have in our sort of energetic expression. And I really encourage you guys or anybody watching to really like look into the mirror, look into yourself, and just be like, who am I? What do I have? And how do I like to express myself? And I was talking about music. Music is a very feminine thing. It's very feminine. Yes. Back in the day when guys were in the 50s and 60s, they started to break out. They started to do drugs. They started to sing songs, listen to the Doors, grow their hair, and just dance in the woods around the fire. That's their way of expressing the feminine. Music is so feminine. Nature is feminine. A woman in her essence is feminine. Music. And the ocean, when the ocean can get really violent or beautiful, that's both the feminine, You could go into the depth of like, the feminine can be powerful and dangerous, and then it can also be very nurturing and healing when it's still and calm and you can just float into the ocean. It's both, and it's both beautiful. You might think of, it's dangerous, nature is punishing us, or the gods are punishing us, or whatever is on your front door, but really, it's just a way of expressing itself. And we are at the mercy of the feminine, it's Mother Nature, and it's overall, we are surrounded by feminine. And one other aspect of I think is really good, is about conscious feminine and conscious masculine. There's the unconscious, unhealthy parts, which is very vibrant in this world as well, both in feminine and masculine. You know, the masculine, the unconscious, unhealthy masculine is dominating, aggression, killing, destroying. You know, it's killing for profit, killing for this, you know, destroying a whole landscape of beautiful nature just so they can build a building, so that they can build profit, so that they can, and it's always about profit, and unhealthy profit, you know, just greed, just consumption. That's the unhealthy. It's this sense of feeling like they have an emptiness that they need to fill because they are unsatisfied and they're actually afraid of the feminine deep down. It's a lot of fear that really moves their actions. And then there's the other side of the feminine. You know, there are very unconscious, unhealthy feminine, which is very wild and it just wants to just destroy. It's like the Kali energy, which is back into the Hindu. I don't want to go too much into the details of it, but I really want to talk about the conscious masculine and feminine. When they actually work together, you know, it's like the river, you know. A river is feminine, but then the dam and the pipe line to move towards the city so that it can create, you know, energy or create electricity by moving the rudder, you know, for like water energy. I don't know what the actual technical term is of that, but it's something like that. When the masculine and the feminine work together and they actually create that harmony, and it can go into big things for like the economy, or it can go into a man and a woman who are expressing their masculine and feminine when they're intimate, especially, or just in day-to-day play. So when I'm a masculine heart, I'm very attracted to a woman who's in her feminine heart. So when she's like just so dancing and in a flow and just giggling and laughing and has that spark in her eye, I get awakened. I'm just like, God, I want to consume you. I want to ravish you. I don't want to like control you, but I want you. I desire you. And I show that in my eyes, and I show that in my desire. And she feels that, and she wants that. She wants to surrender to that energy. That's like her greatest bliss, her greatest pleasure, where she can actually consciously and just with so much trust surrender to that masculine, to that fearless presence, where I can look her in the eye and just be like, God, you are so beautiful. I just want to consume you in the most conscious, beautiful way. And with my heart, of course. So I think yeah, and of course, there's a lot, you know, you can go down to sex and penetrating, and it's like they love that penetrating energy, and they love to receive that, you know, and that's all very conscious, and that's the transition that I feel like the world is doing, that I'm personally doing, that I see Evan doing, and I'm sure a lot of you want to do. And it's a very beautiful place to be. I'm continuing and still in it, and I'm still learning and still growing. It's a lifelong journey, but, you know, there's nowhere else that I'd rather be. So, without going too much into everything else, I'm going to pass the mic back to Evan. If there's anything you want to share, or you want to kind of direct it towards something that you're interested in, or yeah, that is what I have to say.
Damn, that was fucking beautiful. Dude, it took me like 2.5 years of speaking to a camera all this time to develop some sort of on-camera presence and have to like engage an audience. Have you done this before?
Nah, not really. I'm
Damn.
speaking to behind the camera.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
So, dude, that was beautiful. No, thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
So I'll just kind of give a little 2 cents of what I'm going through and where I'm at.
Yeah.
And then I want to pass it back to you about how you, like, going through the attraction and finding out what you're attracted to. I'm going to talk about a little bit what I'm attracted to, but what you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really interesting what you said about, like, Mother Nature and why that is feminine. Because, like, I look around and the more that I get present, the more I feel that it's some sort of, like, a motherly energy. A motherly, like, harboring kind of, like, womb. And when you take ayahuasca, which I've never done. Have you taken ayahuasca?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, yeah. When you take ayahuasca...
Don't try it at home, boys.
Right.
Don't try it at home.
When you do it properly and you go to Peru, you go to a shaman and you go under a proper ceremony instead of just doing it in your buddy's basement, okay, on some random Thursday afternoon. When you do that, you understand that it's Mother Ayahuasca. It's a female presence. It's a female energy. And that's something that I'm coming to terms with, and I don't really delve into this sort of plant medicines. I have yet to do that. But I can feel that the life around me, and there's also life within me, that is feminine. And it's something that I'm getting in touch with the more that I explore myself, and the more, I said it perfectly already, the more that I explore myself. Now I'm going to touch on a couple ways that you can explore yourself and better understand where you're coming from. And the first one, this is a big surprise to you, the first one, the best tool that you can use in your tool belt at your disposal to undertake some sort of self-exploration is meditation. Now Zion lived with me, or I live with Zion, we live together, okay, for 3 weeks, and he can testify that I meditate sometimes. I meditate pretty much
every morning, 2 hours.
Yeah. So I do a good amount of self-exploration. In meditation, I have plenty of experience with it. It is a wonderful technique that allows you to explore who you are. And it has allowed me to explore and have some sort of awareness of my masculine and feminine energy. Now, it's easier for me to develop and realize and cultivate a masculine energy, but what I'm going through right now and why I want Zion on this channel and why this is kind of all coming together in the way that it has and what's happening right now is that I am further developing my feminine energy. And it's kind of like a feminine energy that I've kind of subconsciously and unconsciously kept at bay for a while, and you might be thinking the same thing for yourself because, like I mentioned before, it's kind of hard to be a man and be like, I feel fabulous.
I love you, bro.
I love you. Some sort of homo there, all right? That's totally fine. And embracing that little bit of homo is totally fine. And something that yoga has taught us, well, it's taught me, I don't know about you, but we could talk about that later, is that be floppy relaxed and embrace who you are in a holistic sense, holistic love. Embrace the fact that you love your bro. Embrace the fact that you can appreciate another man. That might be gay, it might not be, I don't know if I'm going to include this, but then also embrace the fact that you have some sort of feminine energy and that I want to look good and that me going to the gym and doing all that shit and investing in myself is a part, it could be a bit of feminine energy. And none of us are 100% masculine or 100% feminine, although we do have that core within us, which I want them to talk about even more. And then what's the other half of that? You have the core, and then what you're attracted to?
You have your sexual essence.
You have your sexual essence, but isn't there another essence?
Your heart.
Is that another one?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just the heart, your core heart,
Sorry.
and then also your sexual essence. But then you also have all the, the foundation, the blocks of it, which can be a lot of feminine and even a lot of masculine.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of women who have there's a lot of women who are feminine heart, but they have very strong masculine. They're dominating into the economy. They're dominating the marketplace.
Right.
But in their heart, they're feminine.
Right.
And they actually. Well, a lot of my mentors and a lot of even David Data were saying that actually the best thing to do is actually follow your heart. It's good to express what you do have. If you have a lot of strong masculine and a lot of feminine, it's good to express that as well. But really at the core of it and for your long life purpose, it's good to explore and express your heart. Yeah. And I think for both of us and a lot of people here, majority of the world for men, they have a masculine heart. And then majority of the world for females, they have a feminine heart. But that doesn't mean that they don't have masculine. And it doesn't mean that we don't have our feminine. It's really about polarity coming together and creating that core whole magic. It really is. And it's not in the magic in the woo-woo sense. It's literally like a practical, synchronized, intuitive magic. Because when you are like actually bringing the two polarities together, everything is polarity. Everything, night and day, masculine, feminine, left and right. I mean, if you really think about the brain, it's the left, a logical, analytical brain, and then the right creative brain. We all know about this. It's like expressing both is what really gives us that nourishment. If you're just analytical and logical all your life, you're going to feel like you're missing something. At least that it was for me. I remember the greatest point where I really saw that was when I was working as a barista in a very, very, very heavy, and it was in London, in Mayfair. I don't know if everybody knows, but it's a very, very rich place. And I was in a, 5-star restaurant, and the matrix of it all was just a machine. If you get sick or if you get fired or you die, they'll just replace you in a matter of days. You know what I mean? It's literally a running machine. You have to get the itinerary, you have to get the right amount of ingredients, you have to get the right amount of coffee beans, you have to get the right for the bartenders, you have to get the right amount of tools. If you lose a tool, you have to order it. It's like every night you have to get all the schedule, you have to get all the itinerary, you have to get every single thing down for the next day. And then repeat, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. You're literally oiling a machine. And that's just so like in the, you know, analytical and machine sort of world. And all of us guys and people there, we were so depleted because there was no sort of creative expression. There was no sort of fullness to it, you know? So we would literally afterwards just get high, because drugs is also another feminine aspect of getting high and just feeling a little bit connected to something, you know? And that's when I really clicked. I was like, I need to express creativity as well. So that kind of got me on a journey of kind of just putting the whole expression of the masculine and the machine world and analytical on brakes for a second, because I needed to explore, like you said, something I put on brakes for a while, which was the feminine side, which is just fully expressing myself, you know, and just being like loving and sharing and fullness, and also even sometimes surrender. Everything is polarity, and everything when you balance, and then the key thing is balancing the polarities to create that wholeness within yourself and externally as well. Like sometimes when I'm in my feminine, a woman is in her masculine, and that works as well. It really, really does. When a woman is just kind of like, sometimes it could be in the bedroom, or it can be when we're going out to eat something. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to make a decision, and she is, and she's like, oh, I really want to go and eat, you know, Italian. And I'll be like, that's amazing, let's go. And we go and we had a great time. I was able to surrender to her to make the decision. And it was a very conscious thing, you know, and sometimes you have to be aware of that conscious, you have to be aware, because you don't want to get too unbalanced on it. You don't want to be like, I want to surrender my whole thing. And I understand that. I come from Japan. A lot of boys and a lot of men are very lost, so we like to give surrender. We like to surrender the responsibility to somebody else. And it's a very, very sad situation, which a lot of it ends up in suicide. Not to get too dark, but that's just the reality of it. So it's all about having that awareness of what you feel inside and being authentic. It really comes down to balancing your authenticity, you know, and really feeling like what is your essence, you know. And even in the bedroom, like I like to usually be consciously dominating. I like to really just ravish my woman, you know. And David Data says, actually, the difference between like rape and ravishment is whether you're connected to the heart. And, you know, it might be a very like touchy subject, and people might, you know, why click this video off or whatever, but actually it's a very true subject, and it's a very key subject. When you're connected to the heart, you want to ravish the woman, and a woman actually loves that. She loves to surrender to somebody who really desires her and wants to just engulf her and kiss her and love her and even bite and spank her, really. And that is like one of the most blissful, pleasurable experiences they can actually have. And I like to do that, but when it's connected to the heart, that's what's the key. They can feel it. You know, you're not trying to dominate her and control her. You're actually flowing with her and actually you desire her. So that's the key thing in the bedroom. But then sometimes when I'm in my feminine, I like to surrender. I sometimes like to just be like, oh baby, you're just like you are literally completely so beautiful. I'm gonna just surrender, and you can do whatever you want to me. Kind of like that awe surrender. And that's my sort of feminine surrendering. So it's all beautiful play, you know, at the end of the day. I feel like nothing is wrong and nothing is right. It's just all about kind of being authentic to who you are and being okay with expressing that.
And there are certain methods and certain tools that you can use to do that. And one of them is yoga. It's wonderful. Another one is meditation, which I touched upon before. Another one is fasting, because we're at 3 now. Fasting and taking away certain stimuli that are causing you to react, which you're not aware of right now, which I wasn't aware of before I did it. And then you take them away, you're like, fuck, I was reacting to food. I was reacting to the people around me. I was reacting to thoughts. I was reacting to the past, to the future. And I wasn't getting in touch. I wasn't seeing myself, who I am, right now. So there's a number of things that Zion touched upon in his beautiful speech just now. That was fucking elegant, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. There's a couple things that he touched upon that I want to dive deeper on. So something that I'm realizing now that I'm going through while in Thailand is my feminine energy, like I mentioned before. And what I'm realizing, it's funny how all this is coming together at the same time. What I'm realizing and having a better understanding of is why I attract certain women and certain men into my life. Why they're attracted to me and why I'm attracted to them. And it's what he touched upon. Polarity. And it's polarity not with necessarily just my masculine or my feminine, or his masculine or his feminine. It's both. And that I'm attracted to, and I attract women who feel that masculine and feel that feminine. And one of the reasons that I can attract a certain person is because when a woman is very dominating in her external environment, but in the bedroom she's different, in her life as she goes through, she's just hustling and doing her thing, I have this sort of feminine energy myself, and I could be at ease with myself. She can see that, and then she's just going to get automatically attracted, right? And I'm saying to myself, why, there's all these tough guys, right? There's all these tough guys, they're doing their thing, they're making a lot of money, they're going out, they're hustling, they're crushing it in many different fields of their life, they're bigger than me, they're stronger than me, they have a deeper voice, they can do all these cooler shit than I do, right? But why am I able to attract a certain type of female like that? Well, it's because she's attracted in her masculine energy to my feminine energy. And as a man, it's kind of weird because you're like, oh, I gotta be like a big macho man. I gotta get these big biceps and shit. And as I'm going through a Tantra yoga program where I'm not able to work out and I have to further embrace who I am, I'm going through a time when I'm attracting more masculine women. It's fucking weird. And it's kind of weird to see, but at the same time, I'm going under some sort of journey to embrace that. So he was talking about how everything has a on and off, light and dark, hot and cold. Well, in other words, reality is a duality, and we could talk for fucking ever about that subject, and I know that I need to make a video about that in the future, and perhaps we'll do it together on Kopangan when we return here, right?
Yeah.
We'll let it be for now, and then we'll get back to it. But understand that reality is a duality. Most things ride on a spectrum, right? And very rarely are we at either extremes, but very rarely are we either at a complete balance. That balance is a nice sweet spot, and balance is something that yoga has both allowed us to better understand. And that's a whole other video on balance. But most things are a fucking spectrum. Neither of us are really on an extreme in the sense that we have masculine and feminine, and we ride somewhere in the middle. Is it a perfect 50-50? I don't know. Maybe it is for you, but for us and for most people, from what I understand, it's not. And it's not something that you necessarily need to push away or push to a different side, right? Where you are right now is perfectly fine. I love you right now for who you are. There's nothing that you can do in your life, in your internal and external environment, that would make me love you more than I do right now. And there's nothing that you can do in the future that would make me love you more than I do right now. And that goes for Zion, it goes for myself, and it goes for every single person that's watching this right now. And if you'd like to come from some sort of place where you can get on camera and say that to somebody without even knowing them, I'm talking to a camera right now. You think that I'm talking to you? I'm talking to Zion and this inambulatory device, okay? It does not have any emotion. I'm talking to you if you want to come from a place like Evan is, where he can talk to a camera and tell you that he loves you without even knowing it, without even knowing you, then maybe you want to develop some sort of tool in your toolkit. 1 is meditation, 2 is yoga, 3 is fasting, and I'm going to go under a number of different sort of retreats and experiences where I further develop my sense of self. That includes cold exposure training, breath work, and ultimately dark rooms. No light. Because maybe I'm reacting to light in a way that isn't my true nature. Anyway, that's a whole different subject.
I really wanted to touch up on what Evan was talking about, sort of a practice, because it kind of, as a guy, it's very, we're very complex human beings, guys and girls, and it's really good to find something that kind of creates and helps to have a container, so that when you have that container, that conscious container, where then you can actually soar heights or soar the depths, but you always have that foundational reassuring container. We've always had that our whole life. When you have a healthy relationship with your parents and they actually let you go free, but they always let you know that they're here, they're waiting for you, and they're there for you, then you can go explore wherever your world is. But when you have that knowing that there's a container, there's a safety waiting for you if you need to go back, that's so liberating. And that kind of goes into psychology and just as human beings. But I feel like what Evan was touching upon on these practices is really beautiful, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, which yoga is just Yoga is the science for the body to meditate. You're just moving into meditation, ultimately. Especially the Tantra yoga that we were learning. We were actually relaxing and flowing into every asana position.
With skill.
With skill. And just beauty. It was just so beautiful. Every position we would just breathe in and relax into our being. And
even when you're in Parshanakandasana or whatever it's called, when it looks like you're about to lick your asshole, it's fucking beautiful. You want to be in that asana like a dog rolling in mud.
That's right. That's right.
Continues on.
And and he was talking about fasting, and it's these practices that actually kind of give you that sense of it's that container, it's that practice that gets you to your core, so that when you actually are centered in your core, whatever your core is, then you can actually from there really soar the heights or the lows when you want to go deep in. But you have that core, you have that container, you have that foundation set, and that's so beautiful. And that's why I do yoga, and for me, I need to move, and I did like Qigong, and I like to move while I meditate. That's sort of that's how I work. That's how I found out how Zion works, and that's how Evan found out how Evan works. That's why really going back to the key thing, like, who are you? What is your name? And what do you feel is best for you in how you express yourself? That is the key thing. Don't try to be the next Evan. Don't try to be the next Zion. Don't try to be the next Russell Brand or whoever your idol is. The idol is you. It really is. And when you find that God-given talent, or that talent in you, that gift in you, then you can really express it to the world, whether you want to or not. And when you really do express who you really are, the world will really benefit. Whatever it is. Now that can go into a whole nother subject, but I wanted to just share that. It's that core thing about creating a practice, a discipline. It has been going on for thousands of years. All the monks, all the Shaolin monks, all the martial arts masters, they talk about this in the East. They talk about when you have a sense of discipline which help your dharma, help you express your human self. That's all it is. It's not like schoolwork or homework you need to do. It's literally a discipline, a practice, a ritual for your sacred self, for your sacred space, that you can create this container, this sense of foundation, so that you can explore so far and so deep to the point where you didn't even know you could explore so far. So I wanted to express that. Oh, and one practice that I do, which is very beneficial and it's very simple. As a masculine essence and a masculine heart of me, I am very attracted to women. I'm very attracted to feminine women, and the ones who have beautiful bodies, beautiful, the way they carry themselves, the beautiful voice, the beautiful, whether it's singing or the way they laugh or the way they carry themselves. I used to be very, very, what's the word? I used to be a slave to it, so to speak. I would be so like, oh my God, But then one of my mentors taught me, John Wineland, shout out to John Wineland, who is actually long student of David Data. He taught me that anything that is feminine to you, whether it's nature, whether it's music, drugs, women, it's good to really sense yourself, whether it's generating down into your sacral, whether it's your cock, or whether it's generating in your head and you're creating the fantasy or you're getting horny. It's good to breathe that through the body, really like breathe it in as a blessing. And that's helped me so much. When I see a beautiful girl walk by, I just breathe her in. I breathe in her essence. I breathe in her energy. I breathe in who she is. And I just breathe in and I just say thank you. And I do say thank you for that blessing. And I circulate it through my body. And actually, he says it turns your lust into love. It turns the energy. It generates the energy from your cock, or it generates the energy from your head. And it actually expresses it through the heart. And that's when it actually turns into love. And women feel that. Women are intuitive beings, man. If you actually coming from neediness, like you want to actually fuck her, or you're coming from like you need her from your mind, they sense that. But when you're really coming from like, you're a real blessing to my experience right now, they feel that, and they love that. That's just my 2 cents.
I like your 2 cents. All the masculine and feminine parts of it too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
So Zion touched upon a very, very important note. It takes practice. It takes diligent work. Okay? We think, or I thought in my past, and I think Zion did too, that some sort of sense of self would just fall into place. That's entirely true. But it takes work to allow that to happen. It takes getting out of your own fucking way, and it's something that I am terrible at doing. I'm inherently fucking awful at getting out of my own way. Okay, most, if not all, the problems I've ever created in my life, whether it be lack of abundance, lack of understanding, pushing people away, have been done and been performed by me, by Evan. Evan created most of the problems that he knows today. Meditation, yoga, qigong, this technique of breathing into your essence, these are all techniques that must be used in everyday life, in daily practice. And what he mentioned before, discipline. Discipline is self-love. Saying no to waking up and then eating a bowl of Cheerios and instead going to meditate for, like 5, 10, or 2 hours, has its massive benefits. And yes, you won't get the Cheerios in the morning, but you will understand a better part of yourself. You will continue that practice because it takes fucking work. And like he mentioned before, I do this every single morning and night, right? And I still have massive, massive work to do on myself. Did that happen to you? You're like, fuck, let me just let time do its work. Let me just let gravity do its shit.
Breathe and let go.
All I gotta do is get into position and then I am golden. I got to get out of my own way. The more that I think, the more that I have conscious thought, the less work I'm actually able to perform. I don't know if I worded that correctly. The less work that I allow to happen. The more I think, the more I get in my own way. Especially when I'm doing asanas, but it applies to other areas of your life. And so after, being able to reflect upon what I've learned in speaking with Zion and having some more information and insights on that, I'm asking myself, and this is something you might want to ask yourself, where else in my life am I not allowing things to land? Where else in my life am I being and getting in my own fucking way? And it's something that I need to discover, it's something that Zion needs to discover, and it's something that you need to discover for yourself. Neither of us can do that for you, but we can give you the tools that you need and that you can use to do it for yourself. I love you. Anything else you want to mention on that, Zion?
Just a bit. That was good.
Thank you.
That was really good. That really got me sort of in my body when you were talking. You really just broke it down really well. And I just wanted to kind of touch very shortly on, don't beat yourself up. That's very key, Discipline, that self-love is so key. And, in life, it can be really enjoyable. And it usually is when you are following your heart and you're following your intuitive dharma, your expression. It's actually very enjoyable to be in the discipline, to be in working on yourself, and to being in actually fully realizing yourself, getting back to your center. I saw this quote that I posted 4 years ago, and it was on my Facebook memory, and it was so perfect with the synchronicity, and it just said, when fear starts to slowly disappear from yourself, it is because you are nearing your center, your true center. The more you go towards your true center, fear starts to naturally disappear. And I think that was very key for in my life right now, because during the asanas and during relaxing into my being, I'm becoming more and more into my center. It could be the same with meditation, it could be the same with fasting, it could be the same with literally just breathing through the day, deep breathing. But this is something that I've kind of been trying to tell myself in my heart. It's like I used to beat myself up. I used to have very high standards for myself. I used to be like, fuck, man, you didn't do it, you messed up, It's the self-talk, the chatter is really hard. But I've started to really genuinely just be like, this is a lifelong journey. The time is going to pass anyway, and we got this life on this earth, and might as well enjoy it. There's going to be days where you're not going to perform as well, but it's all about I'm committed to this. Are you committed to yourself? There's that question, wasn't it? There was a question at that night where they asked us, it was are you committed to yourself? And genuinely asked that, long term, are you committed to yourself? I am. I asked myself that question. I really felt it. I'm like, long term, I'm committed to myself. Along the way, there's going to be bumps, there's going to be distractions, there's going to be, adversities. But I know that long term, I'm going to always get back on the road. And I'm going to give myself that self-love discipline. I love that. Self-love discipline. And
I have a question.
You're human.
Don't mean to interrupt. I have a
No,
question.
it's good, man.
Do you think that getting to your center is done? Let's just say if you're swimming, do you think you're swimming towards the center and it's something you need to work towards? Or do you think it's going like this and allowing yourself to drift down and fall?
I think it's going like this and allowing yourself to drift down and fly.
True. You need to go into Shavasana.
Yes, right. You
The
gotta.
starfish.
There we go.
You floppy and relax.
You gotta open the heart. Yep, and really just relax into your center. Yeah. I feel like the more you resist, the more you persist, it resists. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And it will happen. I mentioned before that we don't know our life purpose. Now, I can't really speak for Zion, and for me saying that, it's not 100% true. I will tell you right now that if you put in the work every single day, you will understand to some better degree why you're here and what you need to do here. Because the reason that I say that is because I'm understanding that. I'm actually at a place, I'll just talk about myself for a little bit. I'm actually at a place where I understand why I'm here to some degree. It's not 100% clear to me, but I'm getting there. I'm definitely at the latter half of it. And I understand that I need to further perpetuate the number one thing that I have ever done for myself, and that's meditation. And I made a video about this called The Secret Sauce to Life's Purpose. Check that motherfucker out because it might blow your mind, as it blew my mind, and then I had to share my thoughts on it. Okay? My number one reason to be on this earth is to further perpetuate the number one thing that I know, and that is meditation. While simultaneously, meditation is allowing me to further perpetuate my purpose, which is meditation. It's kind of pretty redundant, but in essence, I will tell you right now, we're not talking from a place of skepticism, at least I'm not. If you put in the work and if you put in the discipline, you will get that place. You will get to that place, okay? But the weirdest fucking part about the work is it's doing less. Doing more by doing less. It takes a lot less energy to meditate than it does to eat a bowl of Cheerios in the morning. Physical energy, it takes a lot less calories. But which one is easier? When I get up in the morning, I want to eat a bowl of Cheerios way more than I want to meditate. But why do I meditate? Because I understand the power and significance of that tool in my tool belt. I understand where it's gotten me to right now, and I also understand where it will allow me to go. Even though it's not massive progress every single day, it's small incremental progress, which we could talk about. That's a whole other fucking video. It's about small daily incremental progress versus one massive, just like being that fucking rabbit versus the turtle. Did they have that in Japan when you were growing up, or is it just Yu-Gi-Oh and Beyblades and Dragon Ball? They just go like,
Don't forget Pokemon.
Pokemon and karate. But anyway, you will get to where you want to go. Meditation, the reason that I'm telling you about my tool belt and this tool is because it's fucking worked for me. I've seen massive results, and it will allow me to continue to see massive results. Yes, I'm not at 100% clarity of where I am with myself, but I have a tool in my tool belt that I've recognized that has gotten to me where I am, and I have seen and I can look back on massive progress. And what's cool about video is that you can see the same shit. You can see it happen to me. I can look back and I have these memories stored in my brain. But the cool fucking thing about video, and possibly the coolest thing about my channel, is that you can look back on where I came from. You can't look back to before I started the channel, but you can look back to the summer of 2016 and see the progress from then. And if you're not able to see it, I'll just tell you there's been massive, massive progress. Holy fuck, okay? And what's cool is that if you subscribe, little toot my own horn right now, got to do a little bit of marketing here, Evan. All right?
Holy fuck, that's funny.
We, wait, do the finger. If you subscribe down below and hit that bell, you'll be notified when I make new videos. You'll be able to see my journey, and then by seeing my journey, you'll be able to better understand it and see it within yourself. And it's the observance of a journey. We're talking about duality right now. You have the product, and you have enjoying the fucking moment where you are along the journey. You have the goal and where you're at. Do you necessarily need to embrace either extreme? No. Do you need to embrace one masculine or one feminine energy within you? No. It's a combination. And there's a nice balance. And it's a whole other video, and perhaps I'll have him on this channel again, like I mentioned before. If we come back to Kopangan, we can collab one more time, or 3 more times, and talk about balance. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. That is my last thought. Thank you very much, and I love you. I thank you whether you watched 2 minutes of this or the entire way too long 40 minutes of this. I love you whether you subscribe, like, whether you stay for the journey, and whether you just got on right now. Zion, any last thoughts?
No, just gratitude, genuine gratitude. It's, life is a whole journey. Life is it's a roller coaster. And how we met and how this happened, couldn't have asked for it, couldn't have planned it. It all just kind of synchronizes, and that's kind of where I'm at, and I love it. And just wanted to say massive gratitude to you for inviting me onto this.
Dude, thanks for coming out.
Give me a hug.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of man love right here.
Yeah, right?
It's all good. A little bit of homo. It's all good.
All fucking good. Is that a banana in your pocket? You just happy to see me?
That's my phone. And it's vibrating. Yeah, and gratitude to you guys, whoever's listening or watching. Keep it up. Keep on your journey. Keep on your dharma, which just means your human expression. And yeah, much love to you guys. We're going to go to a men's group after this. We're going to go on the beach and just talk to other men about our feelings and vulnerabilities and desires. So, till next time.
Peace.
Peace out.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
That's fucking great.